Hey, what's up, Big Nation? This is David Labby with Big Man Fitness, coming to you today on July 17th, 2017. And today, I'm going to be talking about dealing with failure. I'm going to come clean with you guys. I haven't been doing as well as I could have been. I had a snag in my plans, and I allowed it to derail me. I've gotten back on and off of my plan for the last 4 weeks. Let's just be completely honest. There was a few times where intentionally I allowed myself freedom, which is fine if you can handle it. But I was not in the right to continue down the path that I was choosing. And if you're going to be successful in anything, you have to accept your failures and own up to it. I have not been doing well. I haven't been. And it was not easy for me to make this video because there are many people that look up to me and many people that expect perfection from me, or at least that's what my mentality was. But I'm not doing you a service if I just show you perfection 24/7. Nobody's doing you a service if they show you perfection 24/7. I have my struggles as well. I have my failures. I have my temptations, and I have my life that I have complications that rise up in my life. And if you're not prepared for them, then they can run rampant in your life. And that's what happened to me. I was ill-prepared. I thought I was prepared. I was not. I didn't allow myself the right time to get myself prepped for each of the weeks that I was supposed to be getting back on track, and I got derailed time and again. I would start back up, and then I would get derailed due to emotional issues, due to family issues, due to obligational issues. We all have them. And you can create excuse after excuse if you want to, but if you don't own up to it, if you don't own it, you have to own it, guys. And I own it. I screwed up. I want nothing but to be perfect, to show you guys the way. But in order to show you guys the path, I have to show you the truth of it. Being consistent is not easy at times. You're going to have life problems. You're going to have emotional issues. You're going to have it's not just about the emotions, because the emotions are the primary culprit. But you're going to have things that come up in your life that are going to cause complications, obligations, time constraints. And it's all going to come at you. And if you're not ready, if you don't have a plan in place, it's very easy to get derailed. And I've been bouncing up and down for the past 4 weeks now. I've just been bouncing around, and I haven't been doing well with my diet. Now, I also have a vacation coming up next week, and I have to take ownership of myself. I have to. And it's not easy for me to say, it's not easy for me to be like, okay, I screwed up. Because you always feel like you're going to be judged. And we're always our worst enemies. We're always our worst critics. Nobody's harder on me than me. And I know it. And anytime that anybody says anything to me about it, it just digs even deeper. And even when people are just trying to be nice, and when my wife was even the one that said something to me, and she was just trying to be supportive. And I told her, I was like, you need to be my rock. She's one of them. She's one of the things that are in place. She's one of the safeties that I have in place to remind me of my goals. And sometimes you don't want to hear it. Sometimes, like when you're enjoying a brownie, right? I was enjoying a brownie, and she's like, I'm just worried that you're not going to go back to what, because she wants me healthy. And she wasn't attacking me. There was no attack. There was no disdain. There was not even disappointment. It was concern. And that was kind of a wake up. sometimes you can allow yourself a little bit of leeway, but when it comes to ketosis, you can't really cheat. Not in the way that you think. I mean, there's the aspect of having more food, consumption, and choosing your battles. I chose wrong. I chose a path that I shouldn't have. I started down a road where it wasn't just one thing. It was multiple things that I screwed up on, and that caused me to spiral. Right? I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my God, if I eat a brownie, I'm gonna, like I'm completely screwed for the rest of my life. That's the point that I'm trying to make to you. You can screw up and readjust and get back on course. But the point is that you have to readjust and go back on course. And I'm not going to destroy myself right now to get back into, ketosis and everything. I've been derailed for a while. I'm going to be doing a weigh-in this weekend and seeing where I'm at and readjusting. But I wanted to come clean and let you guys know that sometimes these things happen. And sometimes you have to, this is a journey, not a sprint. So now I have to readjust. I have to create my plan and get prepared. And I know that if you are prepared, if you get things in place in the beginning, it's going to be so much easier throughout the week. I have a vacation that's coming up, right? I'm going with my family and my new family, my wife's parents and her sisters and their husband, her sisters and her sister's husband. So she has two sisters. One of them's married. They have 3 children, 3 awesome boys, and we're all going away, not camping. We're just going away for a week, and I'm the only one that can hold myself accountable. Now, I'm very, very lucky and very privileged that they show nothing but love and support in everything that I do. And that means a lot to me. That helps keep me on course. And they're very non-judgmental, meaning that if I go and eat, they're not going to be completely, disdainful upon me if I go and I eat like a brownie or something like that. But they're respectful of my wishes and what I'm trying to accomplish. And like they've tailored anytime that I've gone and eaten at their house, specifically my mother-in-law. She's amazing. She cooks for me, and she does everything for me to try and keep things on track in my dietary restrictions. I mean, you can't really ask for much better. And I feel like it's like I'm slapping people in the face if I don't acknowledge that. If I don't acknowledge, and if I don't hold myself accountable, because I have such a high support team, which is why I have this support team, in order to, why I put these safeties in place, and I'm glad that they're there, because it's the difference between binge eating a whole box of ding-dongs and having a brownie, right? I could have made much worse decisions, and sometimes you have to acknowledge those things and take solace in it and be like, okay, this could have been a lot worse, right? And just readjust and get back on course, because life is a series of readjustments. It's about getting back on track, getting on course, and then making new destinations, right? I'm not going to be in ketosis my entire life, right? But right now, I really do want to lose the weight. And I have to hold that to myself and acknowledge that. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just doing low carb for right now. My plan is to, just enjoy this week with low carb and next week with low carb, and not go so strict, because on vacation I'm not gonna put people through the whole thing of like high fat and low carb just for my account. But I can still enjoy my meals and still be low carb. It's not a big deal, and I can still lose weight, and that'll help me transition into full blown ketosis later on when I have to get really strict and start working on my exercise regimens, as well as getting my nutrition dialed in. So that's what I'm doing. I'm picking, kind of starting from scratch. I'm picking my battles, and my first battle is just cutting out the crap. Cutting out sweets, cutting out, adding nutrient-dense foods, cutting out, carb-dense foods, which is pastas, potatoes, breads, cutting those out. And that's where you have to stand. That's where you have to start somewhere. I really hate acknowledging or accepting failure or defeat. But that's where you have to shift your mentality. This isn't a defeat. This is one. Just because you lose one battle doesn't mean that you lost the war. Right? And that's where you have to shift your mentality. That you can't just go, screw it, I'm just going to keep on eating whatever the way that I'm eating. Because it's very easy to get led down that trap. As a matter of fact, it happened to me today. I ended up having a brownie and a sandwich today, right, for breakfast. And not to say that that's the worst thing in the world, but when you're somebody that's like me, right, trying to lose weight, if you're in maintenance and you're already in a place where you want to be, fine, eat the brownie. That's fine. That's, if that's part of your plan, it doesn't matter, but that's not part of my plan right now. I want to lose the weight. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be able to have cheats in the future, but I need to have those scheduled and designated times, right? I can't be doing, up and down every week, because that's not how ketosis works, right? So that's where I'm getting at, is that you have to deal with failure in an adult way by acknowledging it and just saying, hey, yeah, I screwed up. You can't be afraid to say that you failed. You can't be afraid, because if you just try and hide it, you're just going to make it worse, and it compounds upon itself. It's like it has a life of its own. It can eat at you, it can draw at you, and I was so afraid of admitting failure. That's why I haven't been making videos. Because I didn't want to talk about it. I just didn't want to talk about it. I was ashamed. I was absolutely ashamed. And in some ways, this is uplifting for me and, lifting the burden. But in other ways, it's kind of narrowing me in and dialing me in and going, hey, you know what? I can get back on track. And yeah, I screwed up, but you can do better. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be better. That's it. So tonight, I'm having a keto-friendly meal with my wife. I'm going to be making chicken and broccoli. It's already planned. Already got the chicken. Just need to buy the broccoli. Make sure that I'm cutting out my sugars, not going crazy. That's it. And I can tell you right now, I can feel the difference of not being in keto and not doing low carb. It's already affected my health. It's affected my stamina, my cognitive ability. I'm not as sharp as I was. I almost feel like I'm, and man, this is going to suck. Now, getting back into keto is actually easier when you've already been in keto, especially since I was just in keto a few weeks ago. So getting back into keto is going to be pretty easy for me. Easier. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be easier, because your body already knows. When you first go into keto, it's a little difficult because your body's not used to it. But now that my body's accustomed to it, I was in keto for over 3 months, so my body was accustomed to it. I've done this before, so I can get back into keto, and I'm happy about that. But I know that for 3 days my life's going to suck. Absolutely suck. So I'm probably going to do that after I get back from vacation and just do low carb for right now. Just eat meat and vegetables and not do any type of special fasting or anything like that. I have a plan of where I'm going to fast for a few days, and when I get back from vacation. But I'm going to keep you updated for the week about what I'm eating, what I'm doing for exercising, and that's another thing. It's so easy to get derailed and just stop everything, and you just can't do it. You just can't do it to yourself. So anyway, that's I'm going to leave you guys with that. And just get back on the horse. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel like you're screwing up your entire life just because you screwed up for a moment. So, anyway, remember guys, be informed, stay motivated, live big. Who up?